Hello dear students. So far in the chapter photosynthesis in higher plants, we have studied various types of experiments done from time to time based on various aspects of this process. Today we know a lot about the process, but there were times things were not known. So various scientists performed various experiments which opened up new phases of these particular reactions which are taking place in photosynthesis. So we will study all these reactions in different categories. Before coming to those reactions of photosynthesis, which are basically categorized into light dependent reactions and dark reactions. Let us first study again the structure of plastid and let's know where these reactions are actually taking place. So, in this diagram of chloroplast, we know that there are coin-like structures. These coin-like structures, they are individually called as thylakoids, and when they are grouped together, they are called as grana. These thylakoids and grana are the site for light reactions. That is, only in these grana the light dependent reactions will take place because they have specific pigments inside them which will capture the light energy and convert them into chemical energy. We will study the processes. And then there is the base that is called as matrix. In the matrix, all dark reactions take place which are independent of light. So, let's study what these light reactions taking place, because these light reactions are nothing but harvesting light energy. So, they are also called as light harvesting complexes. All these light harvesting complexes are present only in the grana part. And these light harvesting complexes have got pigments. What are the different pigments? The pigments are of different types. We categorize all these pigments into two categories: primary pigment and secondary pigment. First one is chlorophyll A. That is the major pigment, that is the primary pigment, which is bright blue-green in color. When we do the chromatography test, chromatography separation of the photosynthetic pigment, the bluish green band which is brightest is called chlorophyll A, which actually acts as the reaction center in the light harvesting complex. Because all the different pigments will pass on their energy to one pigment, one particular center, that is called reaction center, which will trap energy and convert this energy, light energy, into the chemical energy. So that is done by chlorophyll A. Reaction center will always be a molecule of chlorophyll A. Then we have chlorophyll B, which is yellowish green in color, which acts as an antenna pigment. Likewise, chlorophyll xanthophyll, which is yellow in color, and carotenoids, which are orange in color. So, in blue and red region only of the spectrum, the light reactions will take place. And in these spectrum only, the reaction center will absorb the light. So, these reaction centers are actually harvesting the light. That's why they are having the light harvesting complexes. Let's study that. This is a structure of a light harvesting complex. The diagram is given in your book. So this light harvesting complex, which is also called as the quantazome. Why quantazome? Because it is absorbing the quantum of light. And these photons, when they are absorbed by these pigments, all these pigments which are acting, these pigments which are actually the antenna complex, they will pass on their energy to this reaction center. So this reaction center comes to an excited state, from ground state to excited state, and the electrons are emitted. And these electrons are accepted by another component which are called as primary acceptor. So because of this, there is the conversion of light energy to chemical energy. That's why these complexes, these quantosomes, which are actually the combination of about 200 to 250 different type of photosynthetic molecules, having a reaction center always with chlorophyll A. The reaction center will always be only chlorophyll A, and these are called as the light harvesting complexes. Okay, so these light harvesting complexes may have reaction centers, different types of reaction centers. So let's come back to the previous one. So what is light reaction? The processes which take place in the presence of light only, they are called light reactions. And light reactions or the photochemical reactions, they include light absorption, splitting of water, evolution of oxygen, and formation of light energy compounds like ATP and NADPH. So in this LHC, light harvesting complexes, these reactions will take place. And these light harvesting complexes may be of two types, having two types of reaction centers. One is having only one reaction center, that is photosystem 1. Another is also having another photosystem, that is called photosystem 2. And these light harvesting complexes, they are made up of, as I've already mentioned, hundreds of pigments. And these pigments, they are actually responsible for all these reactions. What are the reactions? First one is absorption of light, then splitting of water, then evolution of oxygen, and formation of high energy compound like ATP and NADPH. So these are actually the product or output of light reactions, and these products will be used later on in the dark reactions. So let us study how these light reactions are operated. It may be of two types. One is cyclic, other is non-cyclic. The oxygen is released only in non-cyclic, which is also called as a Z reaction. Let's study about it. So this is a non-cyclic type of photophosphorylation. What is photophosphorylation? The production of ATP and NADPH with the light energy is called photophosphorylation. So here you can see there are two light harvesting complexes. This is PS2 and this is PS1. So this is PS2. In PS2, the reaction center has got P680, or you can say it will absorb the light having the wavelength 680, whereas this will absorb the light having 700 nanometer. So this is PS1. So what happens? When light falls on these reaction centers, on these LHCs, in the reaction center, the electrons are emitted and the electrons are accepted by the primary acceptor. In photosystem 1, there is one primary acceptor. Likewise here, there is another primary acceptor. And the redox reaction takes place and the electrons move downhill. So as a result, this electron transport chain is there. In this process, the formation of ATP takes place in this electron transport system, which is made up of ferredoxin cytochrome complexes. Okay. And likewise, same way, here this water molecule is also broken. That is called as photolysis of water into electrons, hydrogen ions, and oxygen is released. Okay. So this release of oxygen is always associated only with light reaction, because this photolysis of water will take place only in presence of light. It will not take place at night. And ultimately these electrons which were lost from here, they are accepted by PS1. So same electron is not coming back. This electron which was lost from this PS2 is absorbed by PS1. And here the electrons which were lost is coming from this photolysis of water. And here this hydrogen is used in reducing this NADP and converts into NADPH. So the output of this reaction is the production of ATP and NADPH, which will be later on used in the dark reaction. Okay, so let us sum it up. In electron transport system, the photosystem, center chlorophyll A absorbs the 680 nanometer of light, of wavelength of red light, causing electrons to become excited and release 2 electrons from the atomic nucleus. And these electrons are accepted by primary electron acceptor, which may be ferredoxin. The electron from the ferredoxin pass to the transport system and consisting of cytochromes, and the electrons move in downhill in terms of redox potential and reduction takes place, and finally the electrons reach the photosystem 1. Okay, so this scheme is called as Z scheme. This was given by Robin Hill, and that's why this is also called as Hill reaction. This light reaction, Z scheme reaction, is also called as Hill reaction. So that's why the movement of the electrons is from low to high, then to low, then high, and in this way this scheme is called as Z scheme. Okay. So the electrons which are not used up, they pass through the electron transport chain but are passed on to the pigments of photosystem 1. Okay. So this electron hole created in PS1 is filled up by the electrons from PS2, and electrons from PS1 pass downhill and reduce NADPH. Okay, NADP to NADPH. So as a result, we call it as Hill reaction or Z scheme. So this is very important. This is called as non-cyclic photophosphorylation. Only in non-cyclic photophosphorylation, this very important process of photolysis of water takes place. And this photolysis of water only is responsible for the production of oxygen. And in this process, magnesium ions and chloride ions are also required. So oxygen is a byproduct of photosynthesis. So this whole process is called as photophosphorylation, and this was non-cyclic photophosphorylation. In cyclic photophosphorylation, only one system is there. There is no PS2, there is only PS1. The electrons are passed on and ultimately through the electron transport chain they come back. The same electrons which are passed on, which are released from light harvesting complex PS1, they ultimately come back to the same light harvesting complex. That's why it is called as cyclic photophosphorylation. The site for non-cyclic photophosphorylations are the grana or thylakoid, whereas the sites for cyclic photophosphorylation are the stroma lamellae, that is, which are called as frets. So because of this, we say they are of two types, cyclic and non-cyclic photophosphorylation. What are the difference between non-cyclic and cyclic photophosphorylation? Let's see. In non-cyclic, two photosystems work in series. First is PS2 and PS1. And these two photosystems are connected through an electron transport chain which is called as jet stream, and ATP and NADPH are synthesized by this process. And whereas in cyclic photophosphorylation only one photosystem works and electrons circulate in the system, it happens in stroma lamellae, and because of this NADP, because this does not take place, NADP is not produced, because in this region PS2 and NADP reductase enzymes are absent, hence only ATP molecules are synthesized. In cyclic, this NADPH is not produced because this enzyme is absent. So these were the two types of reactions. In next lecture, we will study the chemi-osmotic hypothesis of this photophosphorylation. What actually happens? So these both cyclic and non-cyclic photophosphorylations are very important. Practice the diagrams and you should know what are the differences between them. I hope you have understood the light reactions, that is cyclic and non-cyclic photophosphorylation. Thank you.